McNeil. I'm a corporate attached to the fire station. And today with me is firefighter Antoinette Spencer and off-duty firefighter Mr. Brown. Alright, now today we'll be presenting to you aspect of the presentation. Mrs. Spencer will just come forward and she'll be doing an icebreaker.
Get in the groove. You ready? Yeah, man. I'm ready. We just need to keep them food. You don't have to work it out and make it circulate all over the body. Okay. And get. I really need it. I don't need this. I have a very powerful voice. I don't need this. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Antoinette Anderson Spencer. As she said before, a firefighter attached to the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Trelawney Division. All right. So I want everybody to get up. Yes, we're going to breathe in and out. We don't want any meteoritis to chip in today. You know, as firefighters, you have to be very active persons. So we're bringing you guys into our world. Everybody come on, jump up, everybody jump up, jump up, jump up. Hey. Yes. No man, you're not going to. You're going to circulate in the body and you remember all parts will be working. Why is one look weird with you? We're going to stop head, shoulders, knees and toes. No? Yes, man, yes. We have to get you guys ready for the presentation. You know my job, we just want to touch your hearts. Show me. Yes. Just come up with stands. We're going to work on the food. Make sure you reach all you're supposed to reach. Let me tell you something. It's when fire come, you know, ask if you just don't eat, you know, ask you if you just don't eat. You know, have your popcorn, when you got to back up, when you got something to run. Right? Who's the fire stand up? Me. Who did I see? Oh, okay, alright. That's how you go. Alright. So head, shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and alright, toes, knees, shoulder, head. Alright, everybody ready for the presentation today? Yes. Everybody ready? Let me hear you. Yes. Alright, so like you're ready for your Miss McNeil. You ready for that? Alright, I'm handing over to Miss McNeil. Yes. No.
We were told that the ice just chip, you know, break. So she wants something else.
We're here, and I'm not EMT, so anything we can't work on you. And they call the ambulance in the meantime to come for you guys.
You know what the ambulance? No. Are you ready?
No man, you see, that's why we're here today, to tell you how it goes. So you know the Jamaica Fire Brigade have an ambulance service. And the ambulance service is free of cost. Once it is an emergency. So all you have to do if you're living in the Trelawney area, you dial 954-3230, tell us the emergency. Once we're available, we are on our way. Yes. 954-3230. Trelawney Division. Yes, so we have ambulance service in Lakesdale, Portmore, Hanover, and Negril. We're working on it. I will take donations as well, so if we have an ambulance on the wall, send it our way. We can post it at one of the fire stations. Yes, so, alright, so let me tell you a little about the Jamaica Fire Brigade again. So we have an ambulance service, yes. We have the fire prevention department. That's Miss McNeil. They come to educate.
Because we want to.
What?
She said why she wants to know.
Oh. she never done break. She was one of the ones who were tricked. Which other division do you have, McNeil? We have operations, those are the ones that ride the fire truck. And we have the fire boats, yes, so if fire out there, we have boats out there, right? Patrol the seas. Yes. We have other things, man. You think somebody is fun? We have a big deal. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is a big deal, right? Yeah, man, let me hear you. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is a big deal.
Yes.
We are? Big deal. Yes, we are. And if you're doing a building, and the building has to be passed and all of it, you have to bring it to the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we work alongside the parish council with that, and that's also under the umbrella of the fire prevention team. Yes, so Jamaica Fire Brigade, we do a lot of stuff. We don't play dominoes, as they say, you know, because I don't have to play dominoes. As we go on the table and match. Yeah, so yeah, we do a lot of things in and around the community, and we work with the community as well. We assist in the community wherever we can, and we do trainings, and we come here and we educate. Because guess what? Even though we are firefighters, we don't like fire, because once you get caught on fire, somebody will lose something. So we prefer to collect the pay and do nothing. So we like to come out and educate. Yes, man. We don't like to hear say somebody who's not for true, man. So right now, when they say firefighter and work, I couldn't stop that. We don't have to work a problem, touch up with somebody, and somebody got right back to ground zero. Rough. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, and you know, we have to do what we have to do. Because even though one fire comes the same way. And that's why we have to put our outcomes wire.
You know what is the outcome?
What is the outcomes wire?
The TV light.
The TV light, yes. We don't want that because that's one of the main causes of fire. We receive up the wire. JPS built wires, so most of we have to take it. Run the AC and the washing machine. Yes, but you know, there are many ways you can go about that. You have inverters and stuff like that. Can cut down the cost, use less electricity. And then I think JPS have a device that you use that's like a timer. So it times out. No, not the pay as you go, man. It's something that you plug in, like your fridge in, so like at a certain time it chips out. And then it chips back in at a certain time. So stuff like that used to lessen your electricity usage. But yes, man, after my finish with you are going to be junior firefighters, volunteer firefighters, so we can help you before we reach the scene, because always when we reach things done. But we have to remember again, say, when fire starts, as you come so, it finish. Move very fast, faster than even the truck, and then we bad roads and all of that. We have to take a lot of things, we have a lot of things to factor in. And again, let me implore, get your local fire station number. Very important, because a lot of the time we get blamed for we don't do against it. Because most of the time people dial 1199911, and when they call them, say, I call from Wakefield. And then they dispatch you to Lindsay, because there's a Wakefield up there too, when there's a Wakefield in Trelawney. So all of that take away from the time for us to respond to your fire. So you have to look at all of that. So when they give a name, sometimes we pull away. From 1 hour ago, we don't call the fire station and no fire truck. And we don't get a call. What's the number you call? I call Angie, and Angie call, and I saw the call go round. I remember when Maggie here, grandmother house was on fire. We were the ones on the road that day and we were at the next call. And when we got the call and we reached here, they said we take long to come. No, you know some go driving. Oh, I was the one. Oh, if we take long to come. No, wasn't that. So we said to the gentleman who first saw the fire, I said, what number you call? One of the guy who lived there. So we said, you get your phone in the house. So I said, oh, no, blame we. What time you call you? Oh, we get the call. My sister from Kingston called her. So they can't reach out to her before it reach line. So things like that, ampers. So we don't know the local fire station numbers. So if we don't have any emergency, we can make the call and we get it and we can see how we can best assist you. And hopefully we'll get the next call, because sometimes some people call again for some fire away. You can, and it's out, you know. And then they call you again, say we are like Chukun, top Trulani, because Trulani is a big division, and when we go up there, there's no fire. And then they have a serious fire down there. What happened when we reach? Somebody lose everything, and we couldn't help in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, that's an icebreaker. See them when get cold. Maria, over to you.
Give her a round of applause.
Real fire.
Alright, real fire woman, that's you? Yes, my fire woman, that. Alright. Now I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how the fire services started in Jamaica. Everybody in here are big people. So we know about the fire services based on probably grandma or great grandma. So these fancy units that we have now, back in the days, wasn't so fancy. Alright? Now the fire services started in Jamaica in October 1871. Alright? So a Scotsman by the name of Alexander McFarlane, he along with 6 other men operated from a horse-drawn steam pump. So anybody know about horse and buggy? Come on, man. Am I talking to myself? No? You don't know about horse and buggy? Okay. So back in those days, when they used to fight fire in the corporate area, they used to use a steam pump. Alright? So they had some leather buckets. And if you go to the Greenwood Great House, if you happen to get a tour of the Greenwood Great House, you can ask them to show you because they have one of them there. Alright? So you have the hose that they used to use, the buckets, and the steam pump. The only thing, the carriage. The only thing missing are the persons to man that unit and the horse. Alright? Now, as the city grew, the need for fire coverage gave rise. Now, everybody, all the parishes used to operate as independent. Alright? Now, we used to operate under the parish council. So Kingston had their own fire station, Falmouth had their own fire station, but the amalgamation took place in 1995 where everybody came under one umbrella and the Jamaica Fire Brigade was birthed. Alright? Now, our station was established in 1957. Now, 1957 to now, we've come a far away, right? Yes. So, we have the fancy units them. Unfortunately, who here knows of the unit that we lost in 2020? Was it? You know that we lost a fire truck in 2020? Yes. So, we lost one of our units, unfortunately, but thankfully, we gained another one. We're only one parish. I know we have one station. Alright? You're from Top Trulani, right? Okay. Are you aware that there's a proposed fire station for Top Trulani?
We're right in Ulster Spring.
Right in Ulster Spring. So in short order, Trulani will get a second fire station. Alright? Now, as Mrs. Spencer was talking, she made mention of the challenges that we have when we respond to emergencies. Now, think about leaving Falmouth and going to Troy, as far as Troy, because as big as Trulani is, Falmouth is the responding station for Troy. As much as Christiana is quite close, everything has to go through Falmouth because Troy is in Trulani. What we do, however, the bordering parishes, at the borders, we can ask another unit to respond. So if it's close to, Troy is close to Christiana. So we would ask Christiana to respond if we are unable to respond. We would ask St. Anne to respond if it's, say for instance, on the Queens, or we will ask St. James to respond if it's close to Saltmarsh there. Alright? That is if our unit is unavailable. Alright? Now, we'll be going into the presentation and we'll start off with the fire drill. Now, anybody know what a fire drill is?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Well, a fire drill is like, put you on the alert, what to do when a fire is
Occurs. Alright, so it's basically an exercise that is practiced in the event of a fire. Alright? Now this fire drill has 4 sequences. Am I right? 4 sequences. You see 5 fingers, right? It actually has 5 sequences. Now, who wants to guess the first one? You see fire, where you go? Alarm. Alright, so you raise an alarm. How do you raise an alarm?
Fire!
Alright. Now, if you look behind you, you will see a red object that is mounted on the wall. It is called a pull station, or some persons call it a pull point. That is a manual form of alarm. Alright? Now, if you look up in the ceiling, you will see some smoke detectors. Alright? Now, if an outbreak of fire is detected and it goes into one of those vents, it will activate that automatically. Alright? Now, if you see a fire, first thing, what would you do? Raise an alarm. And let me tell you this. Some persons try to put out fires before they actually call the fire station. What I advise you to do, or what we advise you to do, no matter how small the fire is, call the fire department. It is better to call us back and tell us that you have put it out than to try to put it out yourself and it escalates and then too late.
Suppose you're on your way as you call and when you come, you see no fire. Now, you're getting here.
No. We have a thing in the fire brigade that we call false alarm with good intent. So as long as your intent was not malicious, if you actually see a fire behind a building and you call us, you actually think say building is on fire, don't it?
Yeah.
And that's why you call.
Or it might just reach there.
It might just reach there because what? Fire spreads. And fire spreads in 4 ways. Alright? We're not going into that because we're not doing chemistry or commotion. Alright? Now, the other phase of the drill would be what? So we're all in this building and a fire outbreak occurs. What do we do? You run gone. Then what if you can't put it out? Alright, let us use the homes now. You're in your house and your kitchen, you actually a cook and the fire blazes up on the stove and you catch curtain. Where you go? Throw some water. Alright, let me tell you something.
It was sun.
You see, because you cook, and you have oil in a pot, and it blazes up, water will make it blaze more. Yes. So we don't throw water on all of these fires here. But we just want to tell you about the chemistry, but we can't go so far. Okay. The next step of the drill would be to evacuate. But if you can put it on, as I said, is a curtain. What you can do is close the pot up. Close the pot with a pot cover. Yes, so you smother it, you cut off the oxygen because fire needs 3 things to survive. One is heat, one is fuel, and one is oxygen. Just like us, we need something to breathe, right? Yes. So once you cover the pot, if you use a wet cloth or damp dish towel, you can use it to smother the fire. Well, if you can take her to the bonfire. No, the breeze will blow it up, but in your kitchen, chances are you have water. But I was just saying this to say that sometimes the fire is small and contained, you don't have to run left it, because you can run leave it and it escalates. But still calm, you know. It's still calm. So the next phase would be the evacuation phase. So for all those who afraid of fire, the outbreak of a fire was discovered, you evacuate the building. So with alarm, we evacuate. And then we go to an assembly area. So for all the teachers in here, they are familiar with the assembly point. because we come to the schools and we do regular fire drills. Alright? So the assembly point is where everybody would meet up after the building has been evacuated. And you should take at least 2.5 minutes to evacuate the premises. Alright? Now when you evacuate the premises, a roll call is being conducted. And what is the purpose of a roll call? To account for everybody to ensure that nobody is left in the building. And what would happen if somebody is left in the building? God help them. And that way they're fine. Yes, man. Because sometimes, look at this building. Do you think if fire is in here, it would spread to the other building? No. Yes, it can. Yes. How? How? It can spread through AC vents. Yes. But one of the main reasons why it won't spread is because of the construction of the building. So for those persons who have or know of like board buildings, so if you're in your son, by the time you quint, you reach over the sun. Yes, because the fire will spread. And not only that, the heat can cause the other area to ignite. Alright? So where am I now? Assembly? With the roll call. Alright. So if somebody is missing, firefighters will be. This is why it is important for everybody, for each organization rather, to have safety monitors. So for H10, we came here and we did safety monitor training. So they have highlighted some safety monitors. Those persons, upon a fire, they will be deployed and they will be given specific roles and responsibilities. Now, you have one person for the assembly point, one person for the roll call. So when the roll call is being done, if everybody is accounted for, somebody is missing, that person will report to their supervisor, who will then report to the fire department and inform us that somebody is missing. We now would make all the arrangements to search and rescue, to come carry out search and rescue, if the needs be. Alright? Now, if all the persons are accounted for, then if the building is safe for you to re-enter, if it is not, you will get that information from the fire department. Alright? Now, are there any questions on the fire drill? No? No. But remember, you're not at home now, you know. And member time of fear nobody. So you can be in the bank, you can be a bend down, you come from Chile, not true? Yes, you know what bend down. You can be anywhere and fire happen. Right? But for like more established areas where they have like the fire alarm, you will hear it go off. For even the schools. Remember now, yes, some persons use the whistle as their alarm, some persons use the bullhorn. But what I'm alluding to, fire happens anytime, to anybody, anywhere. So you don't have to be at home. While you're at home though, you can practice a drill also. Because what if light gone one night? And you know, most of the times persons, we safeguard against theft and we don't safeguard against fire. Because sometimes we grill up the house so tight because we don't want nobody broke in there. No, fire happen now, you panic, you don't know which way to put on the key. So if you have a plan, you can execute that at home. Alright? Now, you Miss Spencer, again, she's stressed about it, no. So in case of anything, call us. Alright? No, not only fire, but if somebody takes sick, you can call us and we have an ambulance service. Alright? Now, we're moving on to means of escape. Yes, you have a question?
So, alarm, evacuate, assemble, and roll call.
Roll call and all clear signal. That's the 5 stages. Yeah.
Miss, when you said heat,
can transfer the fire. Can I, say I was driving and I parked in a area that have a lot of dry grass. Can my muffler cause the grass to catch fire?
It depends, yes. Alright, let me explain something to you. Fire. Alright, I was at work the other day and I left I was parked in the sun and I left some plastic plates in the car. When I came back, it was melting. Now, the method of heat transfer, it differs. You have convection, you have conduction, you have radiation, you have direct burning. Now, the conduction is the transfer of heat through metals. Now, if in your cell catch a fire, let's say we're in a container, and the container is close to a board. You see that? It's effective. Alright, you have another thing called shelter in place. Alright, listen, don't panic. We have another thing called shelter in place. Alright? Now, based on what we just saw, if here is not being threatened, it is not wise for you to leave. If we're at Ocean Coral Spring and the fire goes off at Eden Day, there's no need for you to leave. You leaving now can cause more panic. Alright? Yes. Any more questions? Alright, so you see, this summer is not so hot. What is it for the hottest summers that gone are the one that come on? You hear about Flintstone? Alright, so you see radiation is the transmission of heat through open spaces. So once the ray of the sun reach that, it is enough to ignite it. Alright? Yes, and start bushfire. Also, remember the magnifying glass? Yes. So just hold it in the direction of the sun. You see, me tell her the sun love it. She loved to try it, she loved experiment here. She said put it on the paper and it burn it. Alright? I think people are in here. Alright. So we'll be moving on to the contingency plan. Anybody want to tell me what a contingency plan is? I bet say I feel them say so. On always have a backup plan. Yes, man. Miss Spencer, you know what Miss Spencer backup plan is? It's when she dress up and go out in her high heel and she make her impression. She have her flat shoes. That is her contingency. Yes, man. So a contingency plan is a plan that is brought into operation if there's an unforeseen change in the normal method of operation. Alright? Now, for every organization, it is important for you to have a contingency plan. Why? Plan A can fail. And we go to plan B, right? Yes. No? Plan B. Huh? I was told not the one at the pharmacy. Alright. Now, a contingency plan should be well written. It should be flexible. It should be frequently tested, agreed upon by all involved, and it should be current. Now that explain everything? Alright. Now, Miss Lady Bird, which department or which organization are you representing?
He's a primary instance.
Also, all the persons in here are teachers?
No.
Alright, so primary school. Give me another agency. Farming? Alright, so you work with? Brother, you're professional farmers. You soon start talking about slash and burn. Hold on. No move. Teacher? Teacher? Be educated. Sir?
Teacher,
Farmer,
teacher, farmer.
I don't want the farmer. Miss JSIF. Miss JSIF, are you there? Alright. Miss JSIF, what is your role in your organization? She's a contracting officer. So somebody there above you, don't it? Alright. Alright. What is your name, ma'am? Hudson? Alright. So Miss Winsome Hudson and Miss Biddy. Yes. Miss Biddy, a friend. No. Miss Spencer and Mr. Brown over there are also members of JSIF. But because Bibi and Miss Winsome, a friend, they not take Spencer or Mr. Brown input. Remember, a contingency plan should be well written, it should be flexible, it should be agreed upon by all, and it should be current. What did they do wrong? They did not incorporate the other members of the team. Mind you, everybody can't be involved in it. But as management, it should go through everybody. Alright? Yes. Because, no, Miss Spencer have expertise in electrical installation. Mr. Brown, I deal with the safety devices then. Miss Bibi, I just logistics. But because Miss Winsome is our friend, she excludes those persons who play an integral role in the organization. Now, having incorporated those two persons, don't you think the plan would be smoother?
Yes.
Exactly, because you touch every corner. Now, who, ladies from Trelawney, you remember Trelawney Beach, don't it? Which hotel is at Trelawney Beach now? Royalton. Alright, they said the plan should be current, Now, can a plan that was being used back in the 90s at Trelawney Beach, can that work for Royalton now? No. Why? Things and time change. Building codes, structural designs, everything has evolved, everything changed. So, roads, yes. No, everything has changed. So that plan can't work more. Alright? The exits, just for argument's sake, the exits are different. So Miss Spring Gardens, no, the exit round this up. Miss Mullins. Miss Mullins said where you come from now? Which school? Road. Oh, she come from road. She come from road. So Miss Mullins now is not so familiar with it. So what I'm saying is, things and time change, so we have to work with the time. Alright? Now, the plan should be flexible, hear me I stress it, agreed upon by all, and it should be current. Alright? Are there any questions so far? No? Alright.
So that means that you'll be involved, everybody, not really everybody, but intelligent and unintelligent, okay?
Let me tell you something. Yes, involve the unintelligent. Let me tell you something. You ever see some people who have the loudest mouth? You realize that they're good with the people them? Enough time we go past some fire scene and we hear some people and then go on emotionally and them we call because them can't control the crowd. Yes. Mind you, if that is the situation, the police are the ones that are responsible for that. But sometimes you go on some scenes and you see some people, call them out loud, you just make them go over there. So you see you are doing your work, you get to focus. Alright?
So you don't some of them are Mr. Noe and Mr.
Some are who?
So when people understand what you call like you tell them you write something now. Them say them know this and when you know so you write them and say that.
No, we just pass with a permission. We can't say no online.
You would say the person illiterate, but in common sense.
And enough people have sense, no have no common sense, and they don't. they're having a challenge. Alright? No. Miss Farmer over there?
Yeah.
Yes. Where are you from, ma'am? Top Trelawney? Why do you believe say every farmer comes from Trelawney? You know, say Trelawney starts farming, go. How will you farm go farming? She have put me on the place, you know? Yes, ma'am. So, what kind of farm you have? So, so, when you're farming, and let's say you farm yam, and then it's strong, you know? A copy of Ashland. A copy of Ashland. Miss Spencer, get up and show them how it's strong. Alright, now when you're clearing your land, how will you go about doing that? You weed it? So what are you doing it?
Some of the brands are used to mulch the year. You use the yammy, the cloud is only too much mulch inside.
A real farmer, because you know, we shut up with the Alright. So you mulch it and you burn some. How you burn it?
You have an empty space in here because they don't know fire can be very sketchy. I mean, I want to give them a name of property because fire can have bush. Now we know what which part low road there.
Wow. Which part of burn?
Cement level. Yes. You can't go there. Yeah. Very farms. People can't. No,
Alright. Alright. Why I ask you that to know? Because we always implore people to slash and burn. You know what that is? Hold on. Who say it? Me here, why you don't listen? Answer me. I'm coming knocking on this fire guy.
Cut and burn.
Cut it on the light as well.
Trench around the area. You cut trench around, right along.
Alright, what you should do is you're the name there? Anderson Gilfillion. No. Miss Anderson Gilfillion. Yes. Yeah, Miss Tristan. Alright. So when you slash and burn, right? You see all of that big pile that we have, you make it in some small portions.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then you create some fire breaks around it. You know what is a fire break?
Yes.
Alright. So you see, it's like some trenches you dig. Or even if not trench, some barrier will put. Alright? So in case the fire decides to spread, when you reach your sun, you go up on dirt or go up on something to prevent it from spreading. Alright? So when you do that, you ensure that you monitor it. It's important because fire spreading in various ways, and it depends on the time, it depends on where you are, because you can light it, not pay no mind, and the embers blow. Your neighbor yard just put.
No, Miss, we're not talking about, we're talking about farm.
No, but
We just mash up.
something like that. You see, she said neighbor farm just mash up. Yes, yes, farm cultivation, so we get them kind of fire too. And all the bush fires we get, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, man. So while you are slash and burning, you have to be mindful because the fire can come from your area and over your neighbor, and then you know say work hard to feel farm and feel fire because your neighbor is feeling. You know, so then come back to your things. All right.
Sometimes we need about bad.
Okay. Okay. You get the picture? Alright. Any questions on that? Alright. We're gonna have 45 minutes, not sure. Do you want me to stop? Alright. So here in Trelawney, as Ms. Spencer said, we have 3 sections, alright? So we have fire prevention, we have operations, and we have emergency medical services, as we often call it, EMS. Now, the EMTs are those persons who work on the ambulance. In case of an emergency, whether somebody's sick, whether somebody crashed, and we realize that a lot of that has been happening in recent times, right? So I'm using this medium to deviate a little bit, but to tell you to be safe on the roads. Because, as Mrs. Spencer said earlier, Uno said, or John Public said, fireman don't do nothing but sit on a station. And I wouldn't mind them sitting at the station, because when we leave, somebody's in distress. Right? Yes. And it is very terrifying sometimes when you go out and have to be cutting somebody out of a wreckage, somebody who had some plans for later.
Yeah.
That is why it is important. You see, when you go out and go in, our biggest blessing will be overlook.
Amen.
It's a big blessing that we overlook. So we have to be thankful that when we come here today and we go home back, we give thanks.
Yes.
So by the time we remember to do it, you know what? God understands, you know. And if you have a prayer, you don't have to pray like, dear Lord, or talk to God, say like how we have prayers. Yes, man. Say that again. After we get the deal things, you put it. God hear everybody. You know, on someone so come on. Alright. Now, can somebody tell me apart from fires, something else that the fire services have to offer? Apart from, no, fire. We're talking about fire truck responding to emergency. Apart from fires.
Accident.
Accident, still one emergency that. Who said roadblock? What kind of service that? Alright. It's called a humanitarian service. Can you do one drama? You said we just trying to work. There was a little child playing with, you know, them toy helicopter where you spin off the propeller and you. One of them go on the house and they call the fire station. Yeah. Borrow a ladder. He climb up on him and house up to take them our grandson. But yes, we have the grandson helicopter. Yeah. But I guess because we were probably in the vicinity at the time, we just assisted. Alright? Now, what's your name, ma'am? Miss Sampleton? Miss Sampleton. Miss Sampleton love lock up, you know? And she love hide. Not you, Miss Sampleton? Yes. So she had the key and she remember where she put it. She called the fire department and we come and we cut off the lock and she was able to gain entry again. Yeah.
Not all like cement.
A hand? Who have a hand up? Yes, ma'am? Yes. Where? A video as in done in Jamaica?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they are on a post. I don't want, I want to ask my friends. The fire signs I use, so. For the water, they're
Listen, if you notice, time has changed. You remember back in the days when we never consider animals to be animals?
Yes.
No, animals are getting some more greater treatment than humans. And the direction that we are going, we cannot harm these animals. So if somebody can ask you assistance, let me tell you something. You see the fire truck then?
Yeah.
If anybody call and ask you assistance, and we don't go, we not trouble now. And guess what? I know what I'm pocketing money I come back buy gas put in that truck. All me need to do is present myself and be at work, ready for work. When we don't at work, that's it. But as long as I am logged into the government's book, on the government's time, with the government's body, you have to respond. Yes, ma'am? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. She's asking, there's a truck, sorry, there's a tall tree that's actually hanging over the power line.
Yes.
Yeah. Question. No, they're not coming again after somebody else. Yes. What will happen is that we'll have to contact JPs because we don't work on or with electricity. Once they come and do their thing, then we can assist. However, it depends on where they're located. It's not on the wire. Is it blocking anywhere? But if you happen to on the school, which school? Oh, Manchester. We offer humanitarian services and that is considered yes. Any other questions? Let me see the hands of those in here who don't like to cook. Show off hands who don't like to cook. We don't have no company?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. Oh, you love cook when you like wash plates? Alright. As long as we cooking, everybody will eat after wash plates. Alright. Now, if you're cooking, and I gave this answer way earlier, if you're cooking and the stove happen to blaze, what would you do? Oh, you wanna listen? Yes. Now, what if you go home one night and you smell gas? What would you do? Me have to turn on the lights so we can see. Right through that? Show of hands who say yes, turn on the lights. You can see, say I turn on the lights.
Yes.
Alright. Anybody else?
Yes, it happened to me. I'm turning on the lights.
It happened to you, you turn on the lights. Alright. Let me tell you something.
No, yes, I know.
Even though you did that and you were spared, it is not the right thing to do. And why you did that and was spared? Maybe because enough gas wasn't in the environment. But you probably just buy a cylinder and you go home and you smell gas, you turn on the light, it can cause an explosion. That is called arcing. You can't see it with your naked eye. But you see what the flicker of that switch? Also, when you open your fridge door. Yes. Manchester, Miss Manchester. You remember the gas station fire? You, all of you in your drive, when you go by the gas station, when you go by the pump, isn't there a sign that says, what else? What else? No naked lights or flames. Why do you think that is? Because of the vapors. Yes. So they're laying in the air, and once you see the same arcing, me don't watch TV. I don't watch a bomb show then. So you ever see how they get one bomb on a cell phone? You just make one phone call, don't it? That is another form of arcing. So that is why when you're on the pump, they tell you do not use your cell phone. Some form of radiation are going to alright? Is it smelling gas? Let me tell you something. You see the five things that what we do? They're not right. And a lot of times we get away with them. But don't take it for granted. You might just end up one day using your phone and you're not so fortunate. Turn off the cylinder. Don't turn on no light. Open up the windows, open up the doors. That is why I tell you, have a plan for your home. So you see, even in the dark, you can maneuver your way. Me can come out of my room, walk going to my bathroom, walk going to my kitchen. Sometimes I buck up on my children because they are stuck in our way, but we can still find a way. Right? So that is why it is important. Have a plan of action that any emergency at all at home, you know what to do. No. So the moment the gas fan come out of the house, you just, and sometimes the cylinder cannot leak. So you get that sorted out. Alright? Just care back until the gas man say, oh, I'm using cylinder because I'm using cylinder not good. Right? Alright, the final thing now. Final thing, I'm gonna go 2 hours, don't it? Alright. If you are on fire, what do you do? Drop. And they are breadfruit, you know, we just are rolling for the job. Alright, so we stop whatever we're doing, drop to the ground. Miss, we can't remember your name. Wait, on this what? On this inhale, Celia. Yes. You have to cover that pretty face that you. So you stop what you're doing, way up there. Drop to the ground and roll like breadfruit. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for one more thing. If you happen to be in the area of Falmouth and you feel like you want a tour of the station, you can just walk over. Any firefighter is there and can assist you. Feel free to do so. Alright, thank you for having us. Was asked if there's any jobs available. Are there any jobs available? Alright. How do you apply? First of all, you have to be a Jamaican citizen between the ages of 18 to 33 years of age. So like me know me hotel, you can't apply me own. Yes. Alright? So for females, these 5 feet 3 inches are for the male 5'5". But remember, every day things and time change, so that's probably some tweak. Alright? Now you need 4 CXCs. Math, English, or any other tool. Alright? Now, the way that the brigade is going, once upon a time, you could just go to any one of the recruitment centers and do a test. That is how I came in. Now you have to do an application. It is more so preferred when it's written. So you send it to our headquarters, and that is where the selection is done. Alright? So you can go on the Jamaica Fire Brigade's website, and all the information that you require, it is right there at your fingertips. You just need data. Alright?
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Let me see if this still on first aid training. This still go for first aid training.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. McNeil, for that riveting. That was good. That was good. All right. The next presenter we have is Mr. Roland Hay from ADFEM, the regional coordinator. But before he comes, I'm just checking. Would you guys like a 5-minute break to get something to drink or anything like that? No break? You guys cool? No, all right?
Yes.
All right, good. So. All right, so Mr. Hay will now take us through the final presentation of the day. And let's welcome him, please.
Hi everybody, just before the lovely ladies and gentlemen leave, you said nice things come in small packages, don't it? Yes. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Gilfillian and Mrs. Sams to come and present these two tokens to these two lovely ladies for me, please. So you can choose which one of the bands. Alright. Who first? May I choose the family?
Okay, on behalf of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and the rest of the team, the school, the farmers, all of us here would like to give you this the token of our appreciation. May I tell you, the fire just burned up the place. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know it takes 14 muscles to smile, right? And 72 muscles to frown. Now, I was sitting there all along, and I was just saying, what is wrong with Miss McNeil? She just make me laugh, and we just can't stop laugh. The muscles keep, the muscles keep going. And so, Miss McNeil, on behalf of the JSIF family and all of us that are here, we just want to take this time out to say a very big thank you for coming to impart us with the knowledge that you have. And I hope that God will continue to bless you and that you grow in His strength and goodness so that you can also go elsewhere to impart these knowledges. All right? God bless you and all the best.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the next presenter. It's quite a bit I was scheduled to take you through. Basic disaster risk management, hurricane safety, flood preparedness, earthquake safety, shelter arrangement, disaster planning, and mainly hazard management. You okay right here in the back? With the recent experience from Beryl, I'm going to make this presentation as interactive as possible. So I'm modifying what I would normally present, because this presentation should have started at 1 o'clock. Almost 3 o'clock. And we have dinner and things scheduled. So, for the next 3 hours or so, normally about 5 or 6 hours. I'm going to find it.
Oh, you look surprised.
Normally, output from this workshop is the preparation of a community hazard map. It's to be included in your disaster management plan for that particular community in which you have the interest. So I will introduce you to that aspect. If we are to go through the hazard mapping process, it might take us up to 8-9 hours. I don't have a problem doing it. I just did that. Just like this. And you don't have anywhere to go. Yes. That's why it's residential, you know. It's not by accident. It's planned that way so you can work full time. Right? So, with that said, you have any questions before I start? Sorry about that. Alright, so whilst we set up that, you had lunch already? So somebody said they want icebreaker? Just a quick icebreaker. Let's see how the brain is working. So I want each of you to get a piece of paper to write and a pen. I'm going to tell you what to write. Now, 3 past 3, so we stop this exercise at 5 past 3. I want 2 minutes. Write on that piece of paper without corresponding with anybody all the body parts that are spelled with 3 letters only. All your body parts spelled with 3 letters only. Give them a minute more. So those with 5, okay, what, 6, 7, good, very good, 8, 9, 9, good, 10, 11, excellent. Once you go ahead, it's excellent. You're doing very good. So, let's hear first with 6. 6. Who has 6? 7? Alright, let's hear it.
I'm go, arm, leg, hip.
You all have those? 8. Those with 8. What's the additional? Let's go. You had 11, you said? 10. 10. Alright, let's hear 10.
Air, eye, leg, lip, toe, arm, jaw, hip, rib, body.
So here you go.
Yes, good.
So you can adopt that one. You can try, right? Easy to remember. Alright. So, how many of you were impacted during my burial? And those you had go out it?
Yes.
So it's back? Just get it back?
Yeah.
You wonder why you just getting it back? You think the JPS is to blame? Most people blame in the JPS. Why not? They are the ones who provide it. Is that them sending the storm? Is it really a natural disaster? Yeah. What makes it natural? Really? What's a disaster? Oh, all right, let's go back. There's presently a storm brewing, right? But chances are, after leaving Puerto Rico, it may go to Bermuda. After that, it will be in the Atlantic Ocean. When it is in the Atlantic Ocean, is that a disaster? No. Last year we had a lot of storms, but they were referred to as fish storms. Why fish storms? Stay at sea. So once they stay at sea, not a problem except for shipping. And when they come on land, they are a problem because they interact with us, humans, and our structures, and where we choose to live. If we do the right thing, hurricanes will become spectacular. Yeah? Hurricanes are not bad. They are good. They're part of nature's way of renewal. Without hurricanes, the sea will go barren because all the nutrients will stay at the bottom. Our part of the planet where we are would be overheated. And places like Canada and parts of the United States would be frozen. What the hurricanes do is to take heat from low latitudes up to high latitudes. When you have thunderstorm, lightning, converts nitrogen in the atmosphere to nitrates. That's why after a storm, pretty soon everywhere is green. Because fertilizer is falling. All the old trees and rock trees get torn down, so you can have new growth. So it's a good part of nature. Problem is human. So a disaster, and you might not have heard it before, is situation in which hazard causes impact such that our social arrangements are able to cope with those impacts. If your social arrangements can cope with the impact from a hazard, it's not a disaster. If you have a fire at your house, God forbid, that's a disaster for you and your family. On a good steward of blessed memory, if he has a fire at his house, that there is a mere inconvenience. As a known man, you'd still be able to function well and work out the day. You probably have full insurance, probably gain rather than lose. And some people, business people, you know, they cause fires to get insurance payout. So it's human interaction with the environment that is the real problem. Where we choose to live, what we choose to do, and all of that. Right? So you take this property for example. During Allen, most of you probably wasn't around then. Have you heard about Hurricane Allen? It was in 1988. During Allen, see that church post that you pass to come in here? Coral, rubble, sand, seagrass, and all that, way past that bunch. That's how far this is. And all up there was swamp, mangroves, and seagrass, and marsh. So we have removed that, and here is a beautiful hotel. But what if we get a storm with a 15-foot storm surge, or a tsunami with a 30-foot wave? That would get it done. So we humans are really the problem. So I'm going to go into disaster risk management. That's very quickly. Because some other time in the future you can arrange other interventions or probably a fire disaster committee. Have you heard of a fire disaster committee? Okay, so let's go past all these things. Are you familiar with any of these acronyms? Let's see. So DANAs represent what in disaster management? Something that was supposed to be done and it was not done well during burial. Hence the chaos. Damage assessment and needs analysis. So when a storm or any other event has occurred, you need quickly to get data as to what has gone wrong and how you can address it. So burial was on the 3rd, right? Normally, once the Met Office gives the all clear, and that's not all clear for you. So be careful when you hear about all clear. When the Met Office gives an all clear after a flood, tsunami, hurricane, anything to do with hydrometeorological, water and atmospheric basis, is the Met Office that is the authority to it. They will give out all care, not for all Jamaicans to rush out, but for the technical agencies to mobilize and go out, to do assessment. Right? Once these technical agencies have done their assessment, they will issue the national order when you can go. So don't jump and go when you hear that mechanical is out there. We're exposing you to the danger. Because you may have downfall lines that are still energized, roads, sections completely disappear, you name it. Right? So within 4 hours of the all clear, persons are supposed to go. Trade persons to collect data. So we'll know areas that are most impacted, and we'll know what the impacts are, and therefore we'll be able to mobilize. We know if people want shelter, if they want food, water is a problem, power is a problem. Right? And this assessment can be done by you going on top of a hill where you can see over. Or nowadays we have drones, or the JDF has helicopters that will fly over. In the case of Berlin, St. Elizabeth, that flyover was done Sunday. The event was Wednesday. The standard is you must be able to survive on your own. Your preparation for disaster, not just hurricane, must last you for about 3 days. Okay? Now, why do we say 3 days? Why is it 3 days? 3 days is the time expected for the response agencies to mobilize and be able to come to your assistance. So if you're doing the assessment late, then whatever preparation you would have made for your 3 days, they run out. And what about those who can't make any preparation whatsoever to last a day? Some people have to hustle breakfast, they have to hustle lunch, they have to hustle dinner. Right? They don't know for sure when the next meal is coming from. They have to go down to work. So it means that the response agencies need to do their work and do it rapidly. Now, when the JPS goes up, it's not the JPS alone responsibility. In Jamaica, no single agency has the capacity to deal with disaster. So what we have is a multi-agency approach. Each agency has peculiar skill sets, and when you combine those, you will get better results. So disaster management is about collaboration, coordination, cooperation. Was that present in Barry? We'll know when we do the debrief. Hopefully we'll do a proper debrief, right? Coordination, collaboration, and cooperation. Those 3 things must be in place, or else you're going to have chaos. And people are going to suffer. There may not be any suffering, right? Or the period of suffering is extended when it could be much shorter. Right? So going back to JPS. So for JPS to do what they're supposed to do, they must have access to where the lines are. Do they have the capabilities to clear block roads? Yes. Where? They have front-end loaders? Yes, that's front-end loaders? No. They should? Why? Why do they? No. It's like saying Advent should have D12 bulldozers, correct? No, Advent, all Advent needs to do is to coordinate. That is Advent's key role. So imagine disaster management as, you ever seen orchestra play? An orchestra need a conductor. Now, if you have the conductor playing an instrument, you will have a problem. You're not going to have a harmonic music. You have noise. Conductor must focus on getting all the instrument players playing together. That is our role. Get all these playing together. And each entity, whether it's the JPS, World Commission, NWA, they are experts in their areas, or ought to be, you know. That's what we pay them for. Nowadays, we don't pay monkey money for these persons to go on. People have to start to earn monkey money anymore, right? You have people running agencies in Jamaica who earn more than the Governor General. And you know the Governor General, you know his salary. Basic annual salary is 34 million. But you have people running agencies in Jamaica who earn more than that. Most of you probably very like me, right? We're down there. Yeah. Yeah. No. I spent this year in here. I can tell you straight up. I spent this one of the agencies which during the review process was not looked at. Alright? So, part, I am a regional coordinator. I have 4 parishes. St. James, Hanover, Westport, and Children. Okay? I have no assistants. Okay? Good life, huh? Yeah, good life.
Too much work.
I saw an advertisement for the secretary of the deputy governor general. And I said, wow, that person, secretary, deputy governor general, is in the new compensation SCG-5. Okay? You know where the regional coordinator is? The lowest SCG. But now you need a degree in the sciences or planning and all sorts of other things. But they didn't consider us. I hear one person say we do seasonal work. Just tell you all the things, right? So, depending on the thing, so we normally just think of disasters when it's hurricane season. That's why in February, some resort areas in Mobile, they were wrecked by a cold front. Total wave generated from a cold front. And even though Margaret Ville is still building. So we need a coordinated approach. We need all the agencies to work together. With JPS, they have a set way of restoring power. And during very life keep posting to say this is it. But most Jamaicans don't know. So you get frustrated because you are getting information that you need. Where the thing is set up is that the public must be told what is going on at least every 6 hours. That's right. 3 hours even better. Right? You must get regular updates on what has happened, what has been done, and what is going to be done. Lack of awareness, lack of information, and people start thinking, oh, that one gets light because they're green or that one is orange or orange. But Based on the criteria set, the first place to get electricity will be your hospitals, your water supply, your fire station. Right? The last place to get back electricity is the private home. Your home is the last. And you may have the line passing through your community energized, but you're not in line to get the power yet. Because you have other critical facilities like your water pumps and all this, right? And here now we're talking, we moved from a situation where the Water Commission pumps used to be run by diesel primarily. We got some consultant came in and did a recommendation. I don't know how many of you keep up to date. But based on the reclassification of Water Commission some years ago, they ended up with 11 vice presidents. That's more than JC Morgan or Apple. And instead of having generators at the plant, they switched to JPS power. So when JPS power goes, pump can go. So now we are saying, oh, let's go back to ensuring that the pump, you can pump water even when JPS. So you see, the disaster we caused it. We're not putting in place the measures that are necessary. You have to plan for it, you have to think the scenarios way ahead. You can't wait until something happens now then and say, oh, what to do? Okay. Let us finish up. Now, EMS is as an entity that exists in some parishes but not in some. What is it? Emergency, what's the name for?
Medical service.
Medical services. And who operates that? Fire department. So is these ambulances that are stationed at the fire department in some parishes. And they have trained technicians, right? What they call paramedics, who can assist in emergencies. So they are able to resuscitate, they are able to stabilize people before you transfer them to hospital. Right? So the EMS, although it operates out of the fire station, it is controlled by Ministry of Health and Welfare. Right, EOC. Emergency Operation Center. Every parish must activate a parish emergency operation center during an emergency. Likewise, there is a national emergency operation center that must be activated. To do what? What is it? What is the name says? Emergency Operation Center. So here you have a central area where all the key players can be and they can make decisions. So, for example, when before Beryl made landfall, although some people say it didn't make landfall. It did or it didn't? The eye didn't pass over Jamaica, but that don't mean that the storm didn't make landfall. It did. Just that eye didn't pass over. That don't mean that might get damaged. Bear in mind the storm don't have to pass directly over the record. Never heard of what country called Belize? Yes. It's the British Honduras. Belize had to change the capital from Belize City to Belmopan because of a tropical storm. There was a tropical storm, and the tropical storm sat offshore Belize for 2 days, right? And all that rain was falling on Belize City because it was on the coast. So they moved the capital now inland. We may have to do that at some future time in Jamaica. You know that most of our parish capitals are where? Right on the sea. You know why? Because they all started out as sugar pork from slavery. They just upgrade them to town. Some of them even below sea level, like South Lucy. Because of this at sea level. So with climate change and what have you, they are going to be below sea level. Are we doing anything to create new cities? No. Instead, we're dumping up swamps and expanding these cities into the sea. Like in North Korea, we capture the sea. Same way in Bangkok, we capture the sea to build a port. Actually dump out into the sea. Right? So when things happen, don't say, oh, it's natural and it's act of God. No, God creates natural forces, nature to work with. But humans are the ones who go and mess it. Because we think we can control nature. We have power over everything. EMS is something you all need. Early warning system. Do we have that in Jamaica? Yes. But not for everything. Right. The Met Office provides early warning messages for hurricanes and for floods. Nowadays, 5 days out, we have an idea what the weather will be like. We're now using satellites now. So we can be warned and we can be prepared. We still don't have any early warning system for earthquakes. Right? So we just have to respond when we feel the shake.
Can we?
We can respond now. We can prepare.
Can we have one?
Can we have one?
Early warning system for earthquake.
No, because we don't know when they're going to happen. We can't predict them. Right? So what we have to do is prepare and know how to respond. Right? And to recover when they happen. So you all know how to respond to an earthquake when it is happening? So you didn't think until what did it? You don't think up? You don't know what to do.
I was doing an event and I was upstairs.
So why you think you're turning here? Alright, we know soldiers are trained to fight wars. And there's a reason why you have to train them. When the first year firing up, the natural response is to run. The reason you are able to stay and fight is because of training. You practice so it becomes second nature. Because the natural thing for you to do is to power. Right? Because move. But if you regularly practice the drop, cover, and hold. Why hold? What is it you hold? Something that is sturdy. I hope you all following. When you drop, it means you lowering your center of gravity. You see how I mean? Easy to tap over and not hurt. The center of gravity, the way of yours. Shorter people, never wonder why you have outstanding footballers, Messi and Maradona, and all the shorter things. The center of gravity is low. So don't care how you lift and then recover easy. You give me one lift, stabilize. Shorter you are, the more stable you are. Center of gravity is close to the ground. You're not at the top. So you drop to do that, to avoid the earthquake making you fall, right? You cover, meaning that you cover under something sturdy, if it is available. If there's nothing sturdy to fall under, what do? You. Thank you very much. You see that lady demonstrated. You cover your head, and in particular, which part of your head? Not the mole. The mole is protected. It's not the frontal lobe. What we call it head back. You see where those nerves leave the brain to go into the spinal cord? Very sensitive, very delicate. And it can be easily snapped. That's how they murder cow and goat and everything, you know, in the butchers. When you go up to teeth people, cow and goat, they use something blunt, hit it right here, don't make any noise. It's done dead, basically. Can't make any noise. So it's severe, and then it came from going to the brain and being sent back. So you want to protect that because you want to stay alert. So you cover with your hands, and in fact what you're doing is sacrificing your hands for your neck pocket. Right? And you fold up as much as possible to the shape you were when you were in your mother's womb. Because it feet on it. So you're shape like a people, so almost like a C. Right? And you stay on the ground. Let's say you can go into a corner or something if you don't have anything to go on. When you go under something, you need to hold on to it. Why?
It will be moving.
As he said, it will be moving because the room is like that thing or wherever you are. So things will move across. That's why you want heavy furniture in your house not to be up on top or way up above the waistline because they can crush you. So if you go on that table, you hold on to it. Wherever it goes, you go with it. Good? So covering as many things as possible. I see is incident commander. So for any major incident, we need somebody to be in charge to control it. And in Jamaica, most times the incident commander is either going to be a fireman or a policeman. If it's for incident at sea, then it is JDM Coast Guard. Right? So we have that all set out in a national plan. We don't practice as so the incident command control the activities going on in the field where people getting injured, people need to be rescued, people need medical care and all that before you transport them. People need to be evacuated. All those things are under the control of the incident command. Now, the incident commander may need resources because they're out there in the field. And that resource or the resources they need will come from the EOC. So these two work hand in hand. EOC mobilize resources and provide it to the areas where it's most needed. That's how they work. And ICS is Incident Command System. So we have a set way of doing things when it comes to disaster management. It's no guesswork. We have to prepare, plan, exercise, so when something happens, we follow set protocol. Or else it's going to be chaos. MCMS, multi multi-casualty management system. This is what we use to manage victims who need medical attention. Now, I'll give you an example. Which part are you from? Hello. What's the capacity of the Noel Home Hospital? How many surgical wards they have? They used to have one. Used to. So it no longer exists. So if you have need for surgery and an incident happening all over, you have to be transferred to
Corner Regional or okay.
and Corner Regional is functioning well.
Or okay.
So another case is Corner Regional and now refer them to PACS. Because Corner Regional is undergoing repair. And the maximum normally when Corner Regional is fully up and running, they can manage 25 patients in accident and emergency. So if it goes over 25, then you have to go into emergency mode. Emergency mode means that you now have to do a process we call triage. You have to determine who gets the treatment first. So you might have 30 people needing surgery, but you only have 8 surgical wards. So what do you do with the other 20? You put them on hold. So what you do is to stabilize them. And sometimes you have to stabilize them in the field. You can't send them to the hospital because all they're going to do there is to clog up the place. So we have to have a system. So for example, if we were to have a big aircraft crash or something, carrying 200 plus people, all in first thing on the scene, on the ice, incident commander, we have to determine who are the most critical patients that can be transferred. So, first triage is we determine who need emergency medical care or who can wait. Right? So we tag them or we use a color scheme. So you may be tagged red, maybe tagged green, or maybe tagged yellow, or you may be tagged black. That means that you're dead. And don't mean that you're not breathing. You may be breathing, but the person doing the assessment determines that it's a waste of time sending you to a hospital. Probably die on the way. After we finish with the red ones, we may come back to you if you're still breathing. It's hard, but that's how it is. So the way we can deal with it.
Any other system?
Huh?
You use any other system?
We don't have any other system. You can think of a better system. Right? So you have one ambulance, you have 10 people to transfer, you can't transfer all 10. You have to determine which one. So we have to have a system. Right? Then we have MD. And in disaster management, that just stands for ministries, departments, and agencies. Okay? So the different ministries, departments, and agencies that are part of the national system. So we buried. We hear all different ministers on what same things. MLSS, the Minister of Science, Technology, and Transport, does it?
Yes,
yeah. All of them talking. Right? Because they have agencies that they are responsible for who have key roles to play in disaster management. PO? Right. Non-governmental organization. POC? Right, and you all need to know the number or numbers for your parish emergency operations center. That's the place you need to call during an emergency. That's where resources are normally dispatched from to do things like search and rescue, which is SAR, search and rescue. And SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedures. So we have to work out the procedures that we need to follow for different disasters, different events, right? So like for hurricane, we know we have hurricane watch, hurricane warning. You know the difference? We all go and sleep on it. So what is the watch? When do you have the watch? When the hurricane is about to strike, right? 48 hours. So the watch means that you are watching. You're not sure it is going to impact you. Warning means that you are going to have some impact. It may not be direct, but you will have some impact. So the warning comes 36 hours before impact. So you need to know this so you can do your preparation. Alright? So let's look at some other terminologies that we use in disaster management that you need to cover. Right, so hazard. A hazard, that's a fancy definition, right? Simple, because what is a hazard? Look around the room. You see any hazard in this room? I can trip over this. And we have these phones, right? Hazards, yeah? The phones are not hazards. They are. We don't know. Maybe in 30 years' time, we'll know the full effect of these. I use a microwave, right? I know you can cook with microwave. So we don't know when we put it at our ears, it's cooking our food. We won't know that, right? Probably 30 years time research will show us, right? That's the nature of it. Just this morning I was reading that those of us who drink bottled water from a plastic bottle and drink water from a plastic bottle, it could be causing hypertension. Because it is putting in our bloodstream something called microplastics. And microplastics and other microparticles has been shown to elevate your blood pressure, right? For example, if you live in an area where there's a lot of dust and things, smoke, where you have particles less than 2.5 microns, those can get into your bloodstream. They go through your lungs and they can bypass and get straight into the bloodstream and they can lead to elevated blood pressure. These are lots of them. You can't see some of them, but they have great effects. Right? So we have to become more aware of the hazards, avoid those that we can avoid, mitigate those we can mitigate. So in disaster management, we say we prevent. Well, you have to know what is it you're dealing with before you can prevent. Right? So the process involves doing an analysis, becoming aware of what you are exposed to. Once you have done that, then you can prevent. You won't be able to prevent everything, because you can't prevent hurricanes. But you can mitigate. And when mitigation fails, you must have a backup plan which is your preparation in order to respond to those things you can't prevent and you can't mitigate. And you must also have a recovery plan. How are you going to recover? If not, you will stay down once again. Right? So hazards are very important to us because their impact can kill, can make us sick, can destroy our livelihood, right? Our beautiful homes and communities can be put into ruins by these hazards. Right? So we can classify them. They come in different ways. So natural hazard, human caused hazard, and social natural hazard. So the natural hazards are things that nature utilizes for all different things. Like what?
Hurricane, earthquake,
Hurricane, earthquake,
landslide, flood, fire.
landslide, some flood, some landslides, not all landslides.
Yeah,
Some are social natural, it's human
yeah, man.
that trigger it. We're going to labor, remove the trees and all.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the human caused things like explosion. Right now in Jamaica, a big problem is motor vehicles.
Accidents.
Right. We don't call them accidents, the roundabout stop calling them accidents. We call them crashes. Yeah. That's a term used by internationalists. It's actually an epidemic in places like Jamaica, where we have over 400. We had one very recently in Trelawney. 4 people died. On the way to work, this man transporting them, he died too. They ran out of truck. But, yeah, so that's human cause, right? Chemicals, so when Riverton City fire or retirement fire, those are all human causes, right? Then, these are just showing you some of the human causes. One of the biggest problems we have, and usually after flooding or hurricane, then mosquito become a problem. So it's a secondary hazard. Because we don't create the right environment for them. Right? And they in turn can spread disease. Mosquitoes cause more deaths to humans than war. Okay, we were battling this one in 2020, 21, 22. They say it's back now. We have about 15 deaths since the start of the year. Since the COVID virus. Of course, landslides, tsunamis, flooding, earthquakes. These are all natural forces at play and they can affect us. Right?
They can also be man-made.
Man can trigger tsunamis and earthquakes and landslides, like from mining, from deforestation. We have had indication of the collapse of mines triggering tsunamis or the explosion of nuclear devices. So they test them on the ground or at sea. Then we have pollution from things like cruise ships. Now, this is one of the many that comes into farmers, and some days you can have two. You see all this smoke? It's laden with something called sulfur dioxide. When that goes into your naturally form as acid, it's also responsible for something called acid rain. And we mentioned the remedies that so, just to look at some of the impacts building one, a whole section of it collapsed. And the same company was building a hotel in England, another collapse. Yeah. We had an explosion at one of these hotels. And when you check it out, they had an underground tank, water tank, which they painted and then closed it. It was not in use for a while, and then they sent some guys to go and inspect it. And one of the leader, he was entering the tank and he put on the lights of his cell phone. That was the end of it. Yeah. And about 3 others got injured. So the pain solutions just evaporate and it's almost they're waiting for a spark. Because the petroleum product used to make oil paint. It was needed a spark. So we must be aware of the impacts, right? Mortality, morbidity, so death, injury, loss of employment. As you can see, we had some of that from Barry, right?
Yes, sir.
That's people dying. Did we have people injured? Yes. And there was one lady, a tree fell on her house. It was in her house. By the time the fire got through to get to her, but the term they use nowadays is non-responsive. So she was non-responsive. Because by law, it's only the medical doctor can pronounce it. So they have adopted this thing now about the non-responsive fact. So once they hear that term being used, non-responsive, it means a person. Damage, some of you would have suffered, right? Destruction of assets, your livelihood, those in agriculture, those in the retail industry, they run a shop or stuff like that. And of course, damage to the environment are all consequence of hazards, right? And this one we don't pay a lot of attention to, but it is very, very important. Because it can affect us for the rest of our lives. Americans don't like to see how psychological support, because they say you're mad. Right? But you can be so traumatized, maybe not immediately, but later on. Flashback affect your sleep and all. Right? Post-traumatic stress syndrome. Alright? And of course, the social life becomes disrupted. And usually after any major event, the birth rate jumps 9 months after. Downtime. Right, downtime. So instead of you going to church or school or what have you socialize otherwise. Which for us in Jamaica it would be a bad thing. Because in the 70s, we had a campaign that said two better than too many. And now we have to go have a campaign that says the more the merrier. In fact, it was 2020 we actually had a negative growth in our population. And you sum up those born, balance it with those who migrated, and then we were in a deficit. It's not a good thing going forward. Population will age. We want enough people in the working population, especially to provide taxes about for the rest of us get paid. Right? So these are all important things we need to consider. And we plan for them when we put together disaster plans. So, for example, when I'm looking at a plan, I look at how these things are addressed. Vulnerability now. So once you have hazard, your vulnerability is saying how prepared you are to cope with the impact. And some people are more prepared than others, right? So you may be exposed to the same hazard, but you might be more vulnerable than me. So living in Haiti, for example, we might be exposed to windstorms, but we have some people in Haiti who have not done any repairs to their roof for decades. Not some of them not since Gilbert, right? So they would be more vulnerable if they were to have a direct barrier impact, unlike those who are prepared. We find now more people resorting to concrete roofs and all those things as well. We have to deal with that. Alright? So, these are some of the things we do that lead to increased vulnerability in homes in our area. So those from Hannibal know this case. You drive past this place coming out of Hannibal. You have to pass Riley Bridge, you know, where they cut the road through there. And Johnstown is on that side. So this house was the other landslide and that's what was exposed. So after they built the highway, somebody went up and built their house. And so we had some rains last year. So whole part of the case on the block the road. That's what. So this is not that enough. I know, but because one here where I like that. Well, there's no wall in the head to it. The wall itself will go. So part of it is people need somewhere to live. So you have to look at it from the perspective of why the person took the risk to go and live there. Right? You might think they are crazy. But think about it. If I'm working at, say, Lady Hamilton, and I am a server, right? And I'm traveling from Montego Bay down to Lady Hamilton every day to go be a server. And my friends tell me, say, you know, say, on piece of land, say, someone you can deal with. I'm going to say no, because I have to pay less for transport. That's what a lot of the problems we have, especially in these years, in tourism areas. 80% of those who work in tourism don't qualify for NHD mortgage. Right? Because they are classified as seasonal workers. And minimum wage can get you a 3.5 million mortgage. Right? So that's part. We do deforestation, fixing, still happening. Mangrove destruction, sand mine. Those are all things that make us more vulnerable because natural protection is removing them. Right? Alright. Now, a combination of the hazard and your vulnerability when we multiply your exposure, your vulnerability with your hazard, we come up with what we call your risk. What is the likelihood? So the risk is saying, what's the likelihood of you having negative income, right? And we all know about risk because Jamaicans are risk takers. What are they? Because I see some people driving at some taxi. I was driving at so one of the first things I look at when I'm going to take a taxi is the status of the tires. If the smooth like big bottom, we're not going there. Whether it's a minibus or a road taxi, if the tire smooth, we're not going in. And if it's overload, we're not excuse myself. You see, the braking mechanism is designed for a certain weight. When you exceed that now, you carry more weight and you're flying, you can't stop that. Right? That's the risk. Right? But we love risk because some people, like where I live in Hague, you know, I can tell you time of day by a certain lady driving past my house. Because it's lot of time. What they call it? The one at 8:30, cash crop. Every day, many trips, just to buy cash crop. So that is where you're taking a risk. And so sometimes the outcome from risk can be good. It's not always negative, but in disaster management we focus on the bad. But bear in mind, it can be good for some. Right? Yeah, some people also take a risk of living somewhere and then when things are handled, they're blessed. Now, emergency, once there's impact, we may now have to call in agencies to save lives, prevent injuries, or to reduce injuries, protect property. So, this is where we have a situation where we need an immediate response. But that response has to be organized, it has to be rehearsed. You can't just take a man, call him, and jump on fire truck and go put out a fire. No, there's a way to do it. And I remember there was an incident in Mobile once at Barney Street where a resident stopped a fireman with a machete. So the fireman would take too long. He started pumping. You don't know the difference between the pump and the tender. And that in the training, if you leave the station, yes, with some water in the pump, but how much, that probably can last 5 minutes. So if you commit the firemen to the fire and that run out, you might lose them. Right? There's a particular protocol and you must do the assessment before you rush into the building. I don't know how many of you saw what happened in 9/11 when the firemen just rushed into the building. They went home. So you need to understand that when you go out and see, your training will tell you exactly what to do. And you have to do an assessment as a person, assess the situation. If you run in, you make a come back out. The firemen just insert you. And you have to make sure you have enough water back in. So in an emergency situation, you need to know what is it you're going to do. We have had cases where people have died after surviving a crash. And the reason they died is because the body was handled improperly. The person who assisted them is the person who killed them. So we have a situation where wife killed husband, because husband choking and then mug water and mouth. I'm a choke and drowning. Right? We have a station, there's this man who built this racetrack in Chen, Alfred Chen, Dover, Brownstone. They used to fly a helicopter from Brownstone to Aberton. So he crashed one evening and he was able to call out for help and was telling them how to lift it. By the time they lifted him, they took the helicopter almost 1 hour from Kingston. But in lifting him out of a ravine, he had a broken rib and it punctured the lungs. That was it. So he survived the crash, but in the process of lifting it, if you don't do it properly, then you will lose. Right? And it's important that more and more of us learn first aid. So we going and grabbing people and throwing them in our taxi. It might do more harm than, you know, being good enough, but it doesn't mean this person, right? Now, crisis. If you don't manage an emergency well, you're going to end up with a crisis. And sometimes we don't manage the emergency well because we are not equipped. Have the people who are trained, but they don't have equipment. So they go, they do their best, and hope for the best. So in a crisis situation, you're not sure of the outcome. You do the best you can, and hope for the best outcome. Of course, the worst outcome is that disaster. Right? So the crisis, your intervention fails, then you now end up with a disaster. Right? We have another term we use called adverse event. This is where something negative has happened, but we can manage it. So it's important. The impacts are great. However, we can handle the situation. We don't call that a disaster. Call it a disaster when we can't cope with the impact. Okay? So that's a big distinction. When you can manage, we call it adverse event. When you can't manage the impact, we call it disaster. Right? The capacity to cope is no longer. Why? And now you have to pick up these pieces and you have to seek external help, external assistance, right? And you know where to seek the external help, yeah? How many of you got help during burial? Did you request help?
From who?
Never need you? From whom? From the ministries, departments, agencies, NGOs, Red Cross, Salvation Army. Alright. So let me tell you a little bit about assistance. This is jumping all over the place because I want to cover it. In relief response, we're going to respond to the next one. So when you're responding, there is a way. In Jamaica, the collection of data on impacted persons is supposed to be done by a team led by the Roads and Works Department in the parish. It includes Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Red Cross, ADRA, we know what ADRA means? Adventist Development and Relief Agency, and Ministers Fraternal, where they exist. So all these groups will come together and form what we call the welfare team. They go out from house to house and determine who have been impacted and what their needs are. And that is supposed to be done within 48 hours. Based on that, they develop a list of victims. They call it the one list. I'm telling you how it must work. It did work at Waitberry. From this one list, they will distribute. So, as a regional coordinator, give you the example. I would give, say, mattresses to St. James. And the St. James Municipal Corporation would now give that to MLSS and the Red Cross and all them to distribute all over St. James using that one list. So you don't get a situation where the person goes to Red Cross and gets something, then they go to MLSS and get something, then they go to Salvation Army and get something, then they go to the council and get something, and then go to the MP and get something. That's what used to. When I joined the service, that's what used to happen. So we came up with a policy and a framework where we developed one list system, where council and the MP, their role is to recommend people. They don't distribute and they don't do assessment. they recommend. So if you go and say to your council, I had a damage, they will refer that to the committee, and then the committee will send you to go and investigate. If you found to be in need, you get relief. Now, the other thing, by policy in Jamaica, every person in Jamaica, whether you are a resident, citizen, visitor, you are entitled to immediate comfort items, food, water, medication, irrespective of who you are, where you are. That is the policy. In the immediate aftermath of a disaster, once you are affected, once you are a victim, you should not be denied any welfare. Once the emergency phase is over, and you know, suffer loss and all those things, you need to be replaced, roof or what have you, food, cookware, so you need some new kitchens. That's a different matter. That is called rehabilitation, which there is a policy that determines. So people who fall below the poverty line are usually given priority. Right? I'm just telling you the system that it is. And you can judge whether we follow it during very long. Right. So some disasters like drought and sea level rise and epidemic, they give you a time before they hit. So COVID didn't just happen and take over all of Jamaica one night. It was a gradual process. Started out with some visitors coming in, and you know, people were allowed to travel during COVID, right? People who had private jets were coming and going. They didn't stop. They were coming and going. But when you have a post-slavery society where we all want to be kings, you have enough wealth and power, then you have certain privileges. So like if I had certain privileges, when I came today, I wouldn't have to wait at the reception desk for more than 1 hour to get processed. In fact, people would be there, oh, this is so and so and so. Yeah. Right. So this gives us more time to plan ahead and prepare for their impact. These, on the other hand, we have a shorter time frame in which to respond. Right? So in the case of a hurricane, we're looking at 3-4 days to do the preparation. And remember, the warning is issued a day and a half, because that's when we're sure we're going to have impact. So most people wait until the warning before they go out and buy things. Yeah, and at that time, the prices trustworthy. Not just the prices, but you may not get anything.
Right.
So the flash flooding, all of these things, they are what we call sudden impact. Okay? Alright, so we take a 10-minute break in another 10 minutes. That's alright? You will need a break, right? You will take 15 minutes break. Let's go to 4:30. Alright. So, disaster management is just applying management principles to disaster. Right? And the management principles are very broad. You need to ensure you have systems of control, for monitoring, administering, all those things. Right? So, all we are doing is planning for, preparing and responding, as well as recovering from disasters. So we just don't leave it to respond. When we're planning, we have to look at how we are going to recover are we going to go back to where we were? Or should we go back to where we were before the event? No? So where should we go? Forward. Meaning what? Meaning that you must. Do you want to say the same?
Get better and stronger.
3 B's. And I'm not talking the 3 B's men look for on women. I said there are 3 B's. And I'm not talking the one that men look for when they look at a woman. You know, when a man looks at a woman, it's not your nails, you know, and it's not your fancy dress. It's your B's interested in.
You tell us you don't know.
And you ever wonder, usually in the first few dates, you want to take you to the beach or the river? I want to assess certain B's. And when you're in the bikini, we see that one. But normally, you just imagine. Alright. So, build back better. That's what we should aim for. We have signed on to this thing internationally, to the UN system, that when we rebuild, we must build back better. So that if you have a similar event, you will not suffer the same level of damage. Okay? So for example, I had a zinc roof which had some issues. Some of the nail heads rust because the sea air gets to my house. So after burial, I decided I'm going to do it better. So I no longer have a roof that can rot. It won't rust, right? And instead of nails, I now have 3-inch screws holding the sheets in. Already I had straps, but straps don't keep the sheeting on, right? Straps is for what you put the sheeting on. So if you have the best straps in the world and the sheeting is not properly anchored, you're going to lose it. They're going to fly like paper. And the new thing, the better thing now is to use screws rather than nails. So if you're not going concrete, make sure you have a wood, metal roofing in place that can withstand winds of up to 200 kilometers per hour. More and more that's the type of storm we get. We talk about global warming. Hurricane gets their strength from the warm water. Note that when we don't have any warm water, we don't have hurricane. Because it can develop in a cold water. So there's a certain time of year this water is on. So be prepared for violent hurricanes. And your home is very important. I must add to, increasingly it is going to be very difficult to get peril insurance on your home for hurricane. Because normally when you take out an insurance policy with a local firm, they do a thing called reinsurance with an international firm. And these international firms are saying, listen, Caribbean is too much of a risk. We can't bother. We're not making any money out of it. Right? Because these insurance people have to make money. And whilst on that thing, I don't know how many of you listen to Minister Clark, who was saying that we have this bond in place, should in case we have hurricane, right? Yes. However, we could not claim from that bond, right? That bond, to trigger that bond, we need a hurricane of category 4 or 5. and the eye must pass over Jamaica. So the people who buy the bond, they have to protect themselves. They're not going to just buy the bond because they say, well, if a hurricane passes over Jamaica, we pay out. No. They set the thing in a way where they think they can gain. But that's the risk you have to take in placing the bond. You say, okay, we're paying out this money. In the worst case scenario, we'll get a payout. But bond people are also looking at it and say, you know, I can gamble on that one. I may lose, but it's a risk, but I can make some money. I don't know. Right? Alright. So in disaster management, we want to aim at avoiding loss that comes from hazard, right? And this is just a schematic showing you the different areas. So we have disaster risk management, within that we have disaster management, crisis management, and emergency management. We would prefer if we keep it at this most time, but it would mean that we have to change how we approach things in Jamaica. We have to put a lot more money into equipping our agencies so that they can attend to emergencies, they can sensitize the public, train the public. I wouldn't mind if 1 in every 20 Jamaicans was trained in first aid and CPR. Right? Now we have a target. Now we have teams in every parish. We should have a full team that can carry out search and rescue. Right? More and more high-rise buildings going up. Do we have the assets in place to rescue people from those buildings, search buildings in case of a disaster? So those are, so as we develop, our emergency services need to keep pace with the development. Alright, so we end up with crisis and disaster. Okay. Right? So these are the stages, and disaster management has three phases. The things we do when. Before, the things we do during, and the things we do after. Right. So, three phases, and these phases have different stages, right? So, mitigation is something we do before anything happens. We look at the hazard, we look at our risk, and we say, can we do things to prevent things from being worse off? So we can't stop the hurricane, but can we do things to reduce the impact of hurricanes? And these are some of the things we can do. Just a short list, right? So we can repair our roof, clean our drains, install hurricane. Because tiles here, but we call them trucks. It's just tiles. Right? You can prepare. So after you do all you can do for mitigation, there are still going to be things. We don't care how much money you have. We have what we call residual risk that you have no matter how much prevention and mitigation you do, you will still have things happening. So you have now your preparedness. And in preparedness, we are looking at how we can organize. First, we must organize what? You must be burning. You must organize your. I know that some of you are asleep. I don't know from. You must organize self, right? So the family, and if you are a single person living alone, you still need to have a family plan. Right? And now listen, the family plan must include family plan. So you need a family plan, you need a community plan, because when disaster strikes, you need help, or you may need to help others. And one of the things we preach is that public shelter should be a last resort. The things and the conditions of our public shelter, I not want to go there unless I can't do anything. Yes, and I'm one of them who teach shelter management, so I tell you straight. You determine if you can stay with relatives or with friends. The public shelter should be a last resort. You know what we use for public shelters in Jamaica? Government owned schools, yes? The church is officially not a shelter, not a public. It's what we call an auxiliary. It is only used at the discretion of the owner. We can't force the church to say, open your place, we send it people. And a lot of churches are reluctant based on past. I remember one incident, the pastor after begged me, when he carried me going to his vestry and show me. The people that have sex in their man vestry, they don't throw a condom and leave it in a yeah, so when they say they're not using the church, I can't. But the other thing, public shelter, is where you have a community center. And I don't know if you have seen any of these community centers recently. Most of them are dilapidated. They don't have any electricity. And no backup generator and all those things. Right? So, organize with your community. And if your community is strong enough, that community can take over the community center and fix it up so it becomes a nice shelter. Okay? So these are some of the things you must include in your preparedness list when you prepare food and water. More so water. You can survive without food for very long, but not water. The most powerful country on earth, United States, lost over 4,000 people during Katrina because they couldn't provide them with potable water. The people drank water that was contaminated with human feces. Waterborne disease that killed those people, not the hurricane. Right? So we need potable water. 5 liters per person for the day of potable water. This is for drinking, cooking, right? We're talking about one of those 5 liters of plastic for each person. That's what you must budget for. Bathing and water, that's another matter. Some people said there are some pills, so I don't know. But you need personal protective equipment. Some cash. It don't matter how much cash you have, you may not be able to use it. No electricity, car work. Right? So some cash, fuel, charge up the phone, and nowadays you can get solar chargers. Battery operated radio because the electric vehicle, batteries, these are very expensive. So if you can save and invest in a solar source for charging your devices, it would be better in the long term than buying batteries. Right? Be aware of your hazards and know what your local alerts are. And if you can afford it, have an emergency kit at home. Right? Alright, so pretty much you need to be alert, and at parish and national level we normally give out alerts. In some communities they have an alarm system. Some use whistle. You can use things like pot covers to But you will have to work out that system to alarm your community that something is up. So like, I remember doing some work in Summerton and they came up with a thing where they have the bullhorn which gives out different sounds and they use each one for a different hazard. So they could warn people, especially downstream, that the river is about to overflow its back. Maybe the battery is running down on this. Your battery is running down. Yeah. So we just wrap it up. Response is those actions we take when something has happened. We sometimes have to wait until the worst is over, then we go out. In times of hurricanes, we don't want you to venture out. Flooding is similar. They wait until we get some hard air so you can go. And once the response phase is over, you now have to start rehabilitation and reconstruction. The recovery phase must start. Which is where we are supposed to be now with burial. We are supposed to be in the recovery phase. Where we're putting, and hopefully we'll be building back better. Right? Right, any questions for me? So we are going to break for 15 minutes.
Really?
Yes. You need to go outside and get some fresh air. Yes. Can't finish up this six. We're going until 6, you know. I just have a Alright, so you come back at 4:45. Alright? Oh, 4:37. Sorry, sir.
9 minutes left, sir.
Come back at 5 to 5.
Alright.
What time is it?
5:45. However, we are behind schedule for today. That's why we'll go up until 6. Remember? Yesterday was a soft day. Today is the day. So you can go and stretch your legs and be back.
Okay.
And to make it easier for you, you can just stay, just go have dinner, go up, shower, come back down for the live entertainment. See? But later, okay?
All right.
You all don't want to stretch on your first year? What? That's why it's a stretch. It's a best. Right? Your face look familiar. I'm trying to know where. please, very please. Where is it? It's not in Jamaica. It's not Red Cross. Oh, yeah. That day was like, you know, so yeah. If you're afraid of writing, don't go live in that place. Yeah, but I like no, but that's not part of your yeah, well, sometimes
Yes, my BCC here. That's what it
We're tired and we are. So anything I just want to come. Yeah, depende.
two. On the final leg. The others will have to play catch up. All right, let's rough. We just have 2 areas to cover. I'll quickly run through what is expected in putting together your contingency plan, and then we'll look at how we go about creating hazard map. So I'll quickly run through the sections. Since in the instruction you can always get it, right? Something that you need, I can always call it. Fine. Alright. So, ready? It's now on. Hello? Right. So, what is a contingency plan? Contingency plan B. So it's a backup for something that may go wrong. So you have a process, you're doing a project, whatever it is. It could be a lot of us, we live paycheck to paycheck. So you have to have a contingency if some man the paycheck can't cover it, yes? They may have to resort to go to the credit union or family members, or I know that whenever it is close to payday, NCB always sending me these notifications because they know my pay is coming, because they get my pay before I know. So you can put in a contingency to take you through a rough period. Here we are focusing on disasters happening in your community, and it will disrupt the economic, the social, as I said. So what it does, it outlines the systems, the procedures, and state the responsibilities for the different parties who will execute whenever you are impact. Yeah? So you have to work out among yourselves the project you're doing, and look among the community in which the project is located. What are resources, both human resource and material resource, that you can utilize in times of emergency? As well as you have to look externally, especially where you need input from state agencies. That's the bad part. So you're planning ahead, you will have greater efficiency, you can coordinate, you can practice, right? And you have to ensure that you have good communication, and your strategies will match what you may be facing, right? Note that contingency plan, having a good contingency plan, that is not just a document, but it's something that you would have gone through and verified, through exercises and what have you, then that's when you will have the most effective type of response. So you go through and analyze. This contingency plan has to be based on doing a proper analysis. Sorry, I'm so familiar. Yeah. Sorry. So you need to do an analysis of what is around you and what are the possible scenarios that you may face. There's three major objectives you have in your contingency plan. Sorry about that. So you want to ensure that as many risks as possible are taken care of with the design of the plan. You want a scheme to protect people, and always the first goal is to prevent death. Right? In any disaster plan, you want to ensure that we don't have any death, or if we do have death, it's a minimum. Right? You want to prepare different processes and systems that will ensure that you can continue operating as a community. And you have to outline in your plan how you are going to relate with external agencies, in this case the Parish Disaster Committee, and the many agencies that are attached to the Parish Emergency Operations Center to assist you with things like search and rescue, cleanup, medical, other welfare issues. So disasters, we know they strike when we don't want them, at any time and any place. And they impact people, community, businesses, health, you name it. And they can occur with warning and with catastrophic effect. So the first thing you want to do when you put in your plan to outline how you control the unfolding event, how you monitor things, right? And you will have to assign tasks for the different phases and stages of the disaster response. The overall aim is to ensure that you return to normality in the shortest possible time. So your planning must cover that. Make sure you emphasize health, safety, security, and welfare of all those in the community. And of course, you have robust data. So if this digital and flow system is not working, how are you going to communicate with external agencies so that they know that something has gone wrong in your community and that you need help? You must have some mechanism in place, right? And the most basic mechanism is what? When everything else fails, what type of communication you will have to rely on? And what is that? Word of mouth. So how you get word of mouth going from one place to the other?
Chinese communication.
No, not Chinese communication. How do I take messages from this table to the dining room without electronic? You have to move. So you identify people who will be a messenger, and we call those runners. They use them a lot during election. Very effective way of communicating. Right? The actual person will take the message from one point. So include that in your plan. Who will ride a bicycle or ride a donkey to get the message out or to get things in? So you're planning, just to give you some basic things in your plan. Your plan must be adapted. Now, I hear it said a lot during COVID that this was something we could never expect, that it's once in a lifetime and blah 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 blah, and therefore we could not plan for it. As a disaster management practitioner, when I hear things like this, I feel upset because it doesn't matter what triggers the disaster. There are basic things that will always happen. And those are the things you plan for. You don't plan for the event triggering, you plan for the impact. And once you plan for the impact, no matter what happens. Right? So in COVID, we had welfare needs, just like in any other incident. Right? You have health needs. You have psychological needs. People could not move. So the social needs, right? And we just did not plan for it. That, oh, throw up our hands and say, oh, this thing is new, so you know, there's another way to do it. No, we have had pandemics in the past, and in disaster management, there's two ways you learn. You learn from past events, right? And you learn from others who have experienced these events. So, with COVID, we actually started preparing for a pandemic in Jamaica in 2009. We were prepared for avian influenza. But because it did not materialize, you know what we did? We stopped preparation. We started again preparing in 2012 when they had Ebola. But again, because Ebola didn't spread, we put it down. And when COVID struck, we just said, oh no, this one is new, it's the first. So I'll give you an example. During COVID, we said lock them down. Okay. And then we say, only 2 days of the week you can move. But that's madness, because the 2 days mean you're going to have big crowds. So, if we were learning from past events, we'd say, okay, you don't want crowding, so you keep the places open, and people can go and come conveniently, so they will avoid the crowd. If they only have a narrow window to go shop, then everybody is going to rush. Yes. Despite the risk. Yes. Nothing is new really. So your plan must always have this flexibility. So, yes, you have a contingency plan which is based on hurricanes and all these other things. But something else happens, but you realize, but the impacts are similar. People need shelter, people need food, people need water, they need medication, they need psychosocial support. And those you already have, so you just apply to the situation. So people can't go out to get food. Do we have a plan to get food to them? What is the plan? The part of the plan I worked on in 2009 was, if we can't move the people around, South Trelawney produce a lot of food, yams and whatnot. So when no rice and them sit down comes, we don't have to worry. What we need now is a mechanism where we get the yams from the south to feed the people in the north. Right? And similar things we have. So your plan must be able to adopt. It must follow certain guidelines. Right? Notice, I see some plans sometimes very complex, 200-300 pages. When I see that, simple like this, the better it is. So your plan must be simple, it must be flexible, and be able to deal with the situation in an effective and efficient way. And you must tailor to the effects of the disaster, not to their cause. So a lot of times, hurricane and air turn into the radar and talk about this storm will devastate this and devastate that. Beryl was the same thing. They're talking about Beryl, and Beryl was category 5, and this was that. And 2 weeks and we can't get a bottle of water to somebody in Flagaman. That's what we should be focused on. Not that Beryl was category 5, but that you have people in Flagaman who have access to water, or the water supply may be contaminated. How can we help? Or they don't have bedding, or the roof gone over the shelter, because even some of the shelters lost the roof. There was one primary school, I remember, where this lady and her daughter went there to the shelter manager. And they have to run left. In the end, they have to run left them car. Right? Yeah. So, in your plan development, focus on what are the likely impacts in this community in which this project is, and how can we deal with it. What mechanism we have to have water. So if NWC water supply goes, is there a community source? Is there a spring? Or is there a tank? But there, it may be a problem. How can we sterilize it? It may not taste good the way we are accustomed to, but we can make it safe to drink. So we need to know to apply things like bleach. If we can boil, we can use household bleach to purify the water. Or we drink that to sustain life until we can get access to it. So things like that we have to start thinking about. Alright? So these are the priorities that you would cover. Saving lives, so you have your own community rescue teams, which can be trained. Right? Don't depend on outsiders now for everything, because you may wait forever. So it's about self-help. How we can prevent and reduce injuries, reduce suffering, loss of livelihood, and damage to the environment. Right? Growing up in a rural community and never experienced flooding, never experienced anybody sleeping outdoors, never experienced anybody going without food. It was when I moved to the capital town that I saw all these things. I remember the first day going home from school and the way to the yard, water knee high, and I just stand there looking at it and see people going through it. And they're not going through it. So, we as a community have to bond together and put in place necessary things. If we don't have a sinkhole in the community, we keep it clean. Rather than what some people do now is to use a sinkhole for disposal of garbage. Some other places they use them for sewage. Run the sewage pipe here and then cover it over with concrete. And then you come in the flood out and then say, oh! And of course, I want to delve into some other actions that you need to take. Let's go quickly. So we need to provide potable water and food, search and rescue services, and the fire department can help you as a community in training persons in the community to do search and rescue. We also, through the fire department, can have people trained in swift water rescue. And you don't have to be able to swim to rescue people, right, in water. Because they use ropes and floating rings and all that. Right? provide sheltering,